What up YouTube, TK here, and I ideally wish I could tell you we were going to do a scooter video today, but alas we are not. My poor valiant Feroza died after towing a trailer 1,000 kilometers, and it took me 3 weeks to actually bring this thing back to any kind of life, and we're still not there yet. What up YouTube, TK here with the Feroza, and prepare to shed a tear because it is dead. What's happened is there was an issue seemingly with the timing belt, and we now have no compression, and I'll show you why. It's pretty gory. Looking at the pistons, we can see the marks here, and you can see them in the same spot, and that's actually where the valve has collided with the piston itself. Again, really nasty. That's quite a hard hit. We can see here these marks on the valve where it's actually, this black coloring is chipped away. That's actually where the valve has hit the piston. It's very obvious that the valves didn't just hit but are bent, because you can easily get a zip tie right under there. And if we pour some water in, it just drains straight out. So we have no compression, and that is why. It all basically started after a long trip. After I dropped the trailer off, drove home, car seemed fine, and then the next day it was just rough. It was hard to start and there was no power. It limped on for a week because I had no time to deal with it. And then it wouldn't start at all. So naturally I started checking things. Yep, I've got spark. Yep, I actually do have fuel, so what the hell's going on? I get all the spark plugs out, crank it over, and then think, hang on. I put them back in, and I realized I have no compression. None. Eventually, it turned out it was a problem with the head. Let me show you. After hacking up the only compression tester we had to actually fit in these extended spark plug holes, we realized we had absolutely nothing at all, and it was so confusing because, where the hell was it all going? We had 4 cylinders. On each one by one, I rotated the camshaft around until all the valves were closed, and then I poured water in, and it ran straight out. What the hell? We had 16 or near enough bent valves, and we couldn't figure out how it happened. The timing belt was still intact, it hadn't skipped any teeth. The tensioner was a little loose, but it didn't really account for it, but we had 16 bent valves. So I took the head to get reconditioned, and here's our camshaft, and they told me it was seized. It was not difficult to see why. You can see the bearing surface on the cam has been absolutely eaten alive. There has been serious metal on metal contact, and that is the absolute worst thing that could have happened. The bearing surface on the head looks even worse. It is absolutely rough as guts. The head was a complete write-off. It couldn't be reconditioned. There was basically no point. So then I had to spend 2 hours wrenching in the Australian summer heat to yank a head off a 1994 Applause, praying it would fit the Feroza. I mean, I was pretty sure, but you never know with these things. You just never know. Over the period of a couple of weeks, we start piecing the car back together. It's hot, it's sweaty, we're working on the street. I work during the day, so we're going, into the night, it's dark, and we start finally getting things back together. We get the timing belt back on, we get all the new gaskets, and funnily enough, the thing does spring back to life, which was, it wasn't actually that great of a feeling. I expected it to be amazing, but we knew we weren't done yet. And the engine started sounding really sick, and thankfully we realized that was just a map sensor hose that had come off, throwing the EFI out. And then we have more problems with the exhaust. We can't get the gasket on the exhaust manifold to match the exhaust downpipe. So we had a way to go, but we redid the exhaust, bolted it up a little better, sort out the map sensor problem, we get it running. It throws a check engine light, but it's just for a water temp sensor. We're feeling good. And so there's this relief and this feeling that, yeah, we did it. We actually somehow got all this shit back together. We just had a bucket of bolts and we threw it all back on there, and we lost a couple, but somehow we got it running. And then I drove it for a couple of days, and it's hard to start, and it's all over the place. One of the big things was we weren't able to set the timing at all. We don't have a timing light, so I decided I'm just going to take it to a mechanic just to get a couple things sorted. They're going to figure out the water temp sensor. They'll have the right socket so they can easily get onto the manifold.
And so I drop it off, I go to work for the day, I come back and the car hasn't moved, and I'm just dreading it. And they're like, oh yeah, it doesn't start. They hit the starter motor with a hammer. It clicks into life, the starter motor's starting to go. They cinch up the exhaust, they do the timing, they find out I hadn't plugged in the water temp sensor, and they get all that sorted, and the car runs better than it has ever run in its entire life, and that's a good feeling. You know, it's got better compression, it's had a tune-up, it's great, but I still can't actually drive it anywhere because the starter motor is just screwed. I'm hoping, I got my fingers crossed that it's just dirty contacts from all the sand driving and the seawater, and I can clean it up and things will start to work better. But otherwise, you know, starter motors for this thing aren't cheap, and that's more wrenching, more oily fingers, and I'm getting tired, but I swear to God, this thing will drive again. I will leave you with this sign-off, my adulation, when I realized we were going to be able to drive this car again. It will live on. There will be another scooter video, I promise, but first I have to sort out my transport and, in general, my life. Then you will see some serious shit. Thanks for sticking with me through these tough times, and I will say the same to the Feroza here. Till next time, TK out.
Oh, and by the way, it works. TK out. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my God, do you want to know what it was? Do you want to know what it was, YouTube? It was this. I hadn't tightened it up. Because now, here we go. Straight away. Job done. Oh my goodness.